It's important to address trust issues on a virtual team as quickly as you can. And you can only do that if you realize there's a problem. And there are some very common behaviors, kind of two sides of the same coin, really, that can be indicators that trust is a problem. The first is sudden changes in behavior, like suddenly as the boss, you're being copied on absolutely everything. Every email somebody sends, you're getting copied on. Every time Bob sends a message to Alice, you get copied on that. And often that's a sign that something isn't right in that relationship. So sometimes suddenly being dragged into everything is a sign, but the opposite is also true.
Well, but I'll talk about the opposite, but I want to add to that, and that is, we see that all the time, remote teams or otherwise, about this. That's really what some people would call CYA behavior. They're covering themselves when, if there was a higher level of trust, that wouldn't be required, right? So, but here's the other side of that coin, as Wayne said, and it's what I would call the exclusion side. Wayne's talking about including everybody or including you as the boss. The other side of that is I'm not including people in things. I'm not letting them know what's going on. I'm not engaging them in certain decisions as a member of the team, not as the boss. Well, it could be me as the boss too, but more often we're going to see that as certain people start to silo themselves off, form cliques, work with certain people, leaving other people out. Oh, I thought I included you, all of those kinds of things. And if we start to see that, and again, it may not be intentional, but when we start to see it, especially if it's a change from past behavior, we might want to be thinking about how intentional it might be. And we certainly want to change the behavior. We want to get people back to the place where we're all communicating. Can we have either of those things happening in a face-to-face, everybody in the office situation? Of course we can. The fact is that when it's remote, it becomes more critical to not let it happen, and it becomes more critical to try to solve it sooner. So if the whole point is about when do we see trust starting to be broken and how do we start to fix it, we got to look for these kinds of clues.
And there's an additional challenge when you've got a hybrid team, or one where half the team is in the office and half are scattered around wherever. The fact is that unintentionally, the home team sees each other more often. They have the hallway conversations. It's not going to happen on email. It might not happen on instant message. And so there is a natural exclusion, which starts out being completely innocent, and after a while adds to the general mess
Absolutely.
of trust on the team. So one of the things that we really urge long-distance leaders to do is keep their ear to the ground, and when something changes, don't just brush it aside and don't just brush it off, but really pay attention and find out what's going on.